Hi, everybody. This is day 1000 and 1419 days since Richard was murdered. And adjust this. Everything has to be adjusted again. 1419 days since Richard was murdered, and we still don't have his body. And I've been telling everybody that you do not want to be part of this case as far as obstructing justice or the capital murder case with a capital murder punishment. In Texas, which is the death penalty, you don't want to be part of that. And so many people are being brought into this because of retaliation fears or, bullying, um, you know, driven driven to participate when because the military is not a dictatorship, and social pressure is so great, especially in the military. And so that's why we have been letting everyone know to please come forward. Stop what you're doing. Really think about what you're doing. And if what you're doing is being silent, silence is consent. Silence is a bad thing when it comes to the murder of a soldier, when it comes to trafficking of children, when it comes to trafficking our military weapons and our military munitions. Um, it's terrible. And when you know that they're also trafficking in narcotics on top of all of that, when there's security breaches everywhere, um, and there's cover up everywhere, and of course we absolutely understand because of what happened to Richard and so many things behind the scenes that people don't know about, retaliation against our family, harassment against our family, vile and vulgar, um, just the things that they've done. And of course, um, I would even say it's kind of like a false imprisonment. I've been looking into that. False imprisonment, because you have to stop your whole life to address the retaliation, to address the cover up where, 15 plus agencies and Congress, our congressional representatives, um, are afraid to help you, or they're in on it, right? And you have to stop your life and be the investigator. You have to be the reporter. You have to document. You have to be the DA because you have to identify the crime. You have to record the crimes. You have to then fight for a prosecutor that is legitimate to to prosecute the crime, and drive them to do their duty. It is absolutely, and then and on the other side of this is the parent side where you're just so devastated, and it's so devastating for the family to have to do all of this, right? You don't even have time to grieve, even though you're grieving all the time. Um, it really is a terrible situation. And, so why would you want to be one of the perpetrators? Why would you want to rub shoulders with those that bring so much pain and suffering, and have participated in the murder of a soldier in uniform? Don't forget, we're still getting that information that Richard was murdered while he was in uniform. So it is late. I know it's very late, but it's been, It couldn't be helped. Just think about what we're about to tell you, and what we've been through. And we have to, you know, it's like a false imprisonment. You have to uh, focus on this continuously, put everything aside, and in order to live, just to do your life, um, you have to work, till 2 o'clock in the morning. Most nights, I'll work until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And, I'm not playing victim or anything. I'm just telling you that we spend as taxpayers trillions of dollars for our Congress, for our 15 plus agencies, and and it is a sad day when we do have um, institutional support, right? We got the death notice with the casualty report. We have all these investigations going on, state investigations, federal investigations, but this, it had to be driven, right? You have to do all this work. They're not benevolent. And in this case, because CID is involved with Dirty Agent Marlon Soto, Dirty Agent Tavita Nusa, and you had Leilani Hart controlling, bragging, controlling um, the CID on Fort Bliss. Yeah, sorry. I'm just making sure this is on Facebook. Thank you, Anicia. Thank you, Danielle. And you just wouldn't believe every day is like breaking news because you have Leilani Hart, the mother of Dallas Hart, bragging that she has control of the CID office there on Fort Bliss and even to influence the FBI because she got her criminal complaint notarized. She got it referred and accepted to the FBI. And she even got the case number. And then she, was bragging about it, put that out there into the community. We received the case number. We verified, confirmed the case number. And so that corroborates everything that we've heard, everything that the witnesses have said. And she's confessing that her family is engaged in incest, that her family is engaged in child pornography, that her, and while in uniform, that engaged in the rape of an active duty soldier. Her friend's child is then, she's confessing that um, this 7-year-old was raped in her master bedroom by multiple um, members of her household. With friends like this, who needs enemies? But think about this. What excuse did she give for not immediately reporting the rape of her friend's 7-year-old, right? Who we have the name of because it's in there. It's in the file. Um, and what excuse? She is threatened with her immigration status. That means she has immigration problems. And we have confirmation that even Tavita Nusa's family has immigration problems. That they're from Samoa, right? Not American Samoa. And so there are immigration problems. And, and then all of this stuff happens with the breaking news that I have today about Danae and Jonathan Ambriz, Jonathan Caleb Ambriz, and his wife Danae, credit card girl, Katzen Gonzalez Ambriz, right? I think her middle name is Fernanda or something like Ferdinand. I don't know. Anyway, and they've been in the news so much in El Paso. And the first time we saw it, we looked at it and we went, "What? This is so shallow. This is so shallow. This is like I think they're trying to gaslight El Pasoans. I think they're trying to fool El Pasoans because Jonathan Ambriz, who we didn't know, but until this all happened. But I think it was, oh yeah, we found out because of the wedding stuff, right? The wedding, cheating on not wanting to pay for our own wedding. I mean, it's crazy. The these criminals are just absolutely, they just have no pride, no love for the country, no love for the community. They'll want to rob anybody and hurt the community. That's what's happening here. Is they're engaged in hurting the community. And so, Danae Katzen, we know, is connected to Leilani Hart through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And, of course, through Fort Bliss. And it explains why Danae had this access to Fort Bliss, right? That we have our reports, and when all of this breaks, it's going to shock everyone what is going on here. But now they got married. We know for sure that he's military. He's military. So I know for sure he's no longer active duty military, but he's military. And, how do I know that? Because we received a tip about the deeper story, the real story. We have people in El Paso. We have people in New Mexico. I was born in New Mexico, right? I went to school there. It's just, anyway, so we received information about Zillow. Take a look at this house on Zillow. And let me see the address for it, because I thought that was very telling. It's on Sadie Mae Place, Zillow, and let me describe it. Sadie Mae Place. Let's see. Take a look at this house, 1793 Sadie Mae Place. And wow, I'm like looking at the house and I'm thinking, well, this is a very modern looking adobe house for worth is estimate almost $406,000, right? And it was sold in January, and it was sold to Jonathan Ambriz for $400,000, and it was a VA loan. And when I saw VA loan, I went, "What? What? He's military. He's military. Oh my gosh." Yeah. So, that's why this house is so important, because it's, you know, he got a $400,000 VA loan. Danae's husband got a $400,000 VA loan. Pretty young. Um, and so we got that tip, and so we started doing some searching. And wouldn't it be something if Jonathan Ambriz was in ADA? Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if he was in 143? Wouldn't that be something? Yeah. I think that is. Wasn't Jonathan the individual that supposedly had Richard's cards? Well, that was Danae. Oh yeah, that was a Jonathan. You're right. That was a Jonathan. Um, and they had a different last name. And that's a really good point. Really good point, Danielle, is that did she, are they in identity theft, right? Because we know that Richard's identity has been stolen, right? We know that. And we also have evidence that our identity as his family has been stolen, right? We have evidence on that. So there's a lot of identity theft going on. And it doesn't stop at this house. There's multiple cars. Just in this year, I think there's like 3 cars, maybe 4 cars. Um, yeah, nice cars. So where are they getting this money, right? And I have more news because it looks like he gets disability. Okay, it looks like he gets disability. So, I mean, he's advertising that he gets disability. Okay, so let's just say that he's advertising that he gets disability, and we know that he's a scam artist, con artist, whatever you want to say, engaged in fraud and all of this stuff, and even violence. Even violence, they're engaged in even violence because, they had outstanding warrants. Um, we know that there was assault in this last arrest. But, I think that's just gaslighting. And they're really putting it out there. But why aren't they saying that he's connected to Dallas Hart? Why isn't the newspaper saying that Danae Katzen is connected to Leilani Hart and Dallas Hart, and so is Jonathan Ambriz, right? Why aren't they saying that? Because they both of them, all of them, targeted Richard's case then, right? They targeted Richard. Well, we know Danae targeted Richard's case. We know that Leilani targeted Richard's case, and we know that Dallas Hart, even though there's something weird going on with this Dallas Hart thing, I don't always buy who's behind Dallas Hart. I don't. I talked to him. I've communicated with him through email and also on the phone, multiple times. And, to see him on social media, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's 2 different personalities. So I don't know. I don't really buy it. And there's so much at stake here because you're talking about a capital murder case. You're talking about a capital murder case in Texas. So that means you have, they're facing the death penalty. And, it's just, a huge effort, a huge organized effort. And I believe a big chunk of that is with taxpayers' money to divert this whole case, to divert it, to undermine it. And we know that through Marlon Soto. We know that through Tavita Nusa. We know that through um, Leilani Hart. We know that through, this numerous fake social media sites to drive the narrative. But I'm here to tell you that something is really stinky around Jonathan Ambriz and Danae Katzen. That, they're living large, and he's advertising that he's collecting disability, that he's military, right? And more and more. Wouldn't it be something if he worked alongside Dallas Hart? And I don't even want to say worked alongside Richard. I just can't even imagine. But there it is. See the evidence. I'm not making things up. I'm going where the evidence is going. And the evidence is Leilani Hart. The evidence is her tampering with Richard's file, having an affair with Travis. Travis. Oh, I don't know who this Travis guy is. Dallas, come on. And Dallas has nothing nice to say about his mother. She's crazy. She's delusional. It's just like picking on my dad. Uh, she can't be trusted. And they prove that because in the law enforcement history, they called the cops on her, right? They reported her. So her family does not like her, okay? They just don't like her. And that's not me. I'm not making any judgments on it. I'm saying what the evidence is saying. And the evidence has said that, they will absolutely throw her under the bus. They don't like her. They don't trust her. I think they feel kind of betrayed by her. I know that that's kind of what they told me. That she's crazy so why did she then retaliate with the confession? And how true is the confession? Because we've been said, oh no, this is not true. This is not true. Well, why isn't she arrested? See, why isn't, if it's not true, if the incest is not true, if the child rape is not true, if the child porn is not true, then why the illegal gun purchase is not true? Why did she have it notarized? And, why isn't she arrested? That would absolutely show that what she was confessing to and that the FBI accepted it. They gave it validity and of this report. And she has this control over it, right? And she's friends with Danae through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and more. And now we're finding out that Jonathan Ambriz is military. And, he's not so easy to find. He's difficult to find. You have to do a lot of searching to find him. And because of that, that tells me something. That they're hiding information. Because it's the same thing with so many others. As soon as they know that the connections are being made, they'll disappear their LinkedIn, they'll disappear their Facebook, they'll go into hiding. So, yeah, but why are they now promoting them? Gaslighting. Is this a setup? Because, can you imagine how evil that is? We want to know what happened to Richard. That's been the number one question every day. What happened to Richard? Where's Richard? So, they can easily solve so many of these, answer so many of these questions. And, this whole thing with ghosting and even ghosting the house, but it's on. I was sent it on Zillow. So then when you look into it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. They're trying to hide things. They're trying to hide things. It's kind of like this Ernest Christopher Grant. So if they served together, if Richard served with Jonathan Ambriz and Dallas Hart, wow. This is absolutely an investigation for who's going to do it. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. So we're working on that. Okay, Danielle. Did they give you the credit card soldier ID? They can't be trusted. Right. Was Richard reporting against her and family for harming children? So she felt the need to come clean and report about her children and other children being harmed while in her care. This is why we need to drive the institutions to do the right thing. And we're getting there. We're making a lot of progress. And this is absolutely about children. Child pornography. Absolutely child pornography. And, of course, child trafficking. But absolutely child pornography. So I don't, my mind is a little blown with Jonathan Ambriz being military and having such a ghosty site, right? And, they're all connected to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia then because of the Bliss Avenue connection. Those that are connected onto, well, this case and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and all of that, I mean, it's all connected. And with the Walmart case. And my mind is absolutely stretched right now to think that Jonathan Ambriz is 143. Wowzer. Okay, that's really the news for today, is making sure people know about the FBI confession of Leilani Hart about her family member who is the prime suspect in the murder of Richard. And that, you know, if Dallas worked with, can you believe it? I can't get my head around it. I have to sleep on it, because we absolutely know that he's military. We absolutely know that he's advertising that he is a disabled veteran. We absolutely know that he bought this house, 1793 Sadie Mae Place. Okay, we know that. We know that the media has really wanted to hide this. Hide this. So, yeah, but they can't hide everything. People save things. So, I wanted to tell those that have helped us through this, thank you so much. God bless you. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Make sure I don't have any more questions. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. It's huge. It really is. And we got new information today. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Breaking news. Oh, double breaking news. Um, about Bill Hicks. We received it yesterday evening and took some time to read through it. He has some major problems. And what it does is it links David Candelara, right, of course, with Danae Katzen, with Luis Rene Diaz, who is the office manager for Bill Hicks at the district attorney's office there. And that's huge because he's a criminal. He's a criminal. He was arrested with Arturo Alba, and they're all associates of David Candelara. And, you know, KTSM. I feel so betrayed by the media. I feel very, very betrayed by the media. And it seems like the media, KTSM and El Paso Matters with El Paso Community Foundation, are so criminal. Because from the very beginning, we have said we just want to know what happened to our son. Where's Richard? And we've collected evidence. Finally, the U.S. government had to review all the evidence. We had enough. Not everything, but enough. I don't think you ever have everything, but you have beyond a reasonable doubt. And we've had beyond a reasonable doubt for a long time. And we've been submitting it. And we get retaliated against for doing exactly what they asked us to do. To find leads, right? To find evidence, to tell us what happened to Richard. And we submit it and we get retaliated and bullied and more vile and vulgar. And, you know, the media absolutely knows all this. And they're either shaking in their boots or they're part of it. We feel very betrayed by the media. We feel very betrayed by the military. And the U.S. government had absolutely a review of all the evidence. It wasn't like they came in and had like a little powwow and went, what happened to Richard? No, they had to review all of the evidence. And we received the casualty report. And what did they say? Richard was murdered on the Fort Bliss footprint. That is that's the summary. That's the bottom line. In July of 2020, Richard was murdered on the Bliss footprint. That's the bottom line. And we're still being retaliated against. And the media is still retaliating and bullying us and putting out a false narrative, even though we have it. We have it in black and white that the U.S. government declares that Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss, on the Fort Bliss footprint in July of 2020. A young soldier that wanted to serve his country with the best of his ability, who aspired, was a distinguished honor graduate for basic training and AIT. And we are still betrayed. We are still betrayed. And why? Because Leilani Hart controls the CID and the FBI? I mean, how does she control it? Is it this big sex cult that's controlling it? Is she providing children for so many that she controls them that way? Because we know that they were engaged in child pornography. We know that for decades, her home hurt children sexually. She confessed to it. We know that there's 85,000 missing children from the emergency intake center. We know that there is a pedophile problem. We know that there is worse things, a child pornography problem, which is child torture. Is this how she controls? Is this what people want to align with? Well, we say no thank you. No thank you. Satan, get behind me. Go to hell. Go to hell. It's like, isn't it a wonderful thing that God has the power to send people to hell? It's just a wonderful thing. And I've never even thought about it. It always just scared me. But we're talking about major crimes against children here. Major crimes. Terrible. And we're being betrayed by the law enforcement, meaning the CID Tavita Nusa and dirty agent Marlon Soto, and by FBI Supervisory Director Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr. Thank God that there are those that are investigating this, that Tavita Nusa lost his badge and was separated from the military. And now we have this investigation going on against Bob Moore, right? And Angela Katurga's, it's like, wow. And KTSM, and you can see where KTSM and Bob Moore and Bill Hicks and Luis Rene Diaz are connected. They're connected. And that's KTSM with El Paso Matters, with Bill Hicks. So it's comforting that we absolutely understand what's going on now, because before, you're like, what is wrong? They asked us to bring the leads. We brought the leads and they didn't like it. Why not? Oh, they're dirty. They're dirty. We're exposing them. Now we understand. Now we have to go higher. And so we're very grateful that we're getting these investigations going on. So, yeah. And now we find out that Ambriz is prior military. Wow. Advertising that he's a disabled veteran. Wow. I wonder if VA, I wonder who sat on his health board, right? Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. We will be back tomorrow, God willing. I'll be back, God willing. And I don't know how we can top what I just told you. And maybe it's a little confusing. I just learned of it. We just learned of it. So tomorrow, I might be able to express it in a more thorough way. So, but this is huge. It's so big. And those open records that we received, where Bill Hicks is giving waivers for background checks for criminals, that we have a criminal infiltrating into the district attorney's office to manage it without any background check. Wow. I'll have to read, we're reading through it, and we'll explain it more tomorrow. But thank you so much. Please share. Please share, and maybe you can do a better job explaining this. And please let people know what's going on, because this has to stop. This has to stop. So thank you so much. God bless you. Until tomorrow.